Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Candy Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Evan Sokinyi. I'm joined here by Wakili Willis Otieno. Wakili, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Yes.
Let's look at what has been happening in the country. First of all, what befell Senior Counsel Martha Karua in Tanzania when he went over there in order to try and attend the trial of the opposition leader, of course, Tundu Lissu in Tanzania. This has not actually gone well with a number of people across the East African region. What do you make of those kind of events?
The East African Community Treaty provides for free movement of people. And Martha Karua is a citizen of the East Africa community.
Yes.
And she is entitled to enjoy the freedoms in the treaty, including the freedom of movement.
Yeah.
And it was quite in bad taste for the Tanzanian authorities to stop Martha Karua and Lynn Ngugi and Gloria Kimani from the Law Society of Kenya to gain entry into Tanzania, and equally to stop former Chief Justice Willy Mutungi and Khalid Hussein from Maki Africa from also entering into the country, and Anifa. These are citizens of Kenya, which is a partner state in the EAC. So they have a right to free movement into any part of the community. And the Tanzanian authorities are now misbehaving. Maybe it is time they tell us if they really believe, they want to be part of this EAC. We can make a decision that we don't want to be in this EAC, and we don't want citizens to freely move, as was envisaged in the treaty. This high-handedness by Suluhu does not help the cause of democracy in the community. There was nothing that these gentlemen and ladies were going to do that the Tanzanian authorities cannot handle. This was purely somebody going to attend to witness a trial. We've seen David Maraga in court today in Tanzania. What has he done that is untoward? So even what was Martha Karua going to do? It just shows the repressive nature of Suluhu.
Okay.
And Suluhu needs to be called a dictator for what she is. She's a dictator. And she's now undermining not just the rights of Martha Karua, but the provisions of the East Africa Community Treaty that allows for free movement of people. And Kenyans need to visit Suluhu to tell her that either she commits to the treaty or she can withdraw her country from the treaty.
Okay.
So that we know that when we are going to Tanzania, there are certain restrictions that are placed on the free movement of people within Tanzania.
Okay. What do you make of the kind of trend that is actually going on within the East African community on how the leaders here deal with actually dissent? Look at what is happening in Tanzania right now, then our neighboring country here, Uganda, and even our own country, Kenya here.
Of course, the political establishments that we have here are very anti-democracy. They do not take kindly to dissent. And what is dissent? Dissent is just people who hold contrary opinion to them. And Uganda, you saw even Kenya facilitated Besigye to be abducted here from Nairobi and taken to Uganda. You've seen how they've handled political dissent in Uganda. Now you're seeing it in Tanzania. There have even been cases where there have been attempted assassinations of the same Tundu Lissu by people suspected to be from the state of Tanzania. And that is quite unfortunate. We need to create a region that respects the human rights of everybody and that accords to the principles of democracy. Why should you be a region that is now known to be about clamping down on alternative voices? That is the past. It's not the new order. And I wish CCM loses the elections in the coming elections when it is called. Of course, I know the main political opposition party. There has been heavy clampdown on them, and some have decided not to participate in those elections. But as that is happening, then Suluhu needs to be given her flowers as now the new dictator in the region who has joined the club of African despots that clamps down on opposition political parties and on those who advance and advocate for human rights and democracy.
The members of the CCM party in Tanzania are saying, look here, Kenya has got a number of problems, and the fact that Martha Karua tends to get associated with the Chadema, of course, leader, that is Tundu Lissu here. They're saying, look, you've got a number of problems in your own country. You can go ahead and fix them. Why are you meddling now?
There are so many Tanzanians in Kenya today. Why can't they use the same argument to get out all Tanzanians that are in Kenya to go and deal with the problems of Tanzania? There are so many in Kenya. But we recognize that we are under treaty. And we recognize the free movement of people. If a Kenyan goes to visit Tanzania, it's not your business what they're doing as long as they're not committing an illegal act. So why should you stop them from accessing Tanzania? Just the same way Kenyans will not stop Tanzanians from coming into Kenya. As long as they're not doing criminal activities. We are not going to become a police state where you say that you start telling citizens which problems they should attend to.
Okay.
Who told them Martha Karua cannot attend to Kenyan problems plus Tanzanian problems plus Uganda's problems? That is our issue, not your issue. If in attending to all the problems she cannot solve all of them, that's not your problem, that is our issue. Why should that concern you? Allow the free movement of citizens as envisaged in the treaty. And those Tanzanians who are talking like that, they are actually undermining the spirit of the treaty. We have many citizens from other East African countries who are in Kenya. And they have a right to be here.
Okay.
We are not like their other countries, their countries, home countries, which don't seem to respect the treaty. We believe they should be here. They are here by law. The treaty allows them to be here. In equal measure, the treaty allows Martha Karua and anybody else to be there. And the Tanzanian authorities need to make a decision. Either walk out of the treaty and then come up with your stronger measures to block Kenyans from coming. Okay. And we'll respect that.
Let's get back to the country. Of course, the Trans Nzoia governor, George Natembea's home was raided. We've seen that. We've also seen threats to have the former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, arrested. These are some of the things that are actually happening within. And this also talks to how the government in this country as well deals with this kind of... Make me understand this. What do you think the government actually fears in how it actually... that makes it now to deal with this?
Of course, the government, Ruto's administration is simply trying to send fear to the Kenyan people.
Yes.
That those who are perceived to be critical of the administration are now being sent to policemen to intimidate. But it has never worked. It will not work. Moi tried it, did not work. Uhuru tried it, did not work. What makes him think it will work? It will not. These are the same tactics that have been used before. The same playbook, the old playbook. Deploy heavy police around a perceived critic with an aim to send fear to others to keep quiet. They will not keep quiet. You arrest Natembea today, there will be 20 Natembeas born tomorrow. You arrest Gachagua, there will be more Gachaguas. You tried it with Jimmy, there are more Jimmys who are born. So, it doesn't work that way. These are people who are speaking on behalf of the masses. They are not speaking on their own behalf. And the issues they are raising are factual issues. When you've been unable to manage the economy and you've mismanaged the country, that's the truth. All they are simply saying is that they're just amplifying it. But that's what is being said everywhere. Everybody is saying it. Gachagua just has a larger platform, a bigger platform to address it. But there's nothing different that Gachagua is saying that is not being said by the common man on the street. When Natembea speaks about it, it's the same thing being said by everybody in Trans Nzoia. He just has to have a platform that now he has a larger audience listening to. But that's what everybody says. So deal with the issues, not the personalities. Okay. This clampdown will not help. Kenyans are not in the Stone Ages where you clamp down on political alternative views. Kenyans have a promise of an election. You assume office by virtue of an election, not guns like in Uganda.
Okay. Based on the sentiments that the former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua actually made, do you think that the government is somehow justified in telling him that he's not above the law?
If anybody thinks that Gachagua said anything that was untoward, then just summon him. Let the law take its course. You don't need 200 policemen to go and look for Gachagua. Yeah, just tell him to summon and prefer charges against him. That's no problem. And let the law take its course. Why send heavily armed policemen to occupy his residences? I may not agree with what Gachagua said that if they try to rig, it will be Christmas party. 2007 will be a Christmas party. But if you believe that it's something that warrants intervention by the law, follow the law. Don't do it.
Does it amount to incitement according to you?
The first incitement was done by Cherargei, Murukom, I think it was Sudi, and this one from Kericho, Cheruiyot, the ones who are saying that they will rig Ruto in. That's the first incitement. That's the original sin. Why have they not been arrested? The ones who are moping around villages telling people that they are going to rig in William Ruto. That's the incitement. Where is it? I've said we have our phones. Kenyans are going to take control of the elections. And they're going to relay the information as they cast the vote, as they count, as they announce. By 9 p.m. we'll have our president and our members of parliament duly elected and announced by the people of Kenya. Using their phones. Everybody will do their own aggregation of the results. This is different times.
So by 9 p.m. we'll have our president. What if that president is Ruto?
It will not be Ruto. That is why we'll have him by 9 p.m. It will not be Ruto.
Because actually what
there is no way Ruto is going to win elections. I don't need to be a magician.
You see what led Gachagua to saying this is because there was...
No,
what if he...
I am telling you, when Kenyans in their polling stations are present in the polling stations, they're the ones voting.
Okay.
They are the ones who will be witnessing the counting. And they're the ones who will be telling us the results. We will all be doing our own aggregation of the results. That aggregation will lead us to only one outcome. Ruto will lose the elections. We are sure of who will lose. We may not be sure of who will sit, but I know it's Wanjigi. But we are sure of who will lose. Ruto will lose the election. And Kenyans will show us that he has lost the elections.
Okay. So how many things are you sure with? You're sure with Ruto losing, but you know Wanjigi winning, but you're not sure whether Wanjigi will win. What is it?
Because that now I'll wait for the Kenyan people to give us the verdict.
Okay.
Yes.
But on this Ruto...
I am sure. Run a poll on this channel right now. How many Kenyans will vote for William Ruto? And it will shock you if he gets more than 10% of the votes. Kenyans have decided.
What if I'll be shocked indeed?
The point is, there is no new other breed of Kenyans beyond the ones we interact with. We live in this society. We've been through political movements and campaigns. You can read the mood of the people. William Ruto is in the past. We don't even need to waste much time discussing William Ruto. He's in the past. People are done with him. We should be focusing on the future.
Finally, let's complete this by you weighing on the sentiments by Mutungi. He says, look, Kipchumba Murkomen is the CS in charge of Interior. He says the IBC chair is Ethicon all the way from Turkana. He's the former employer, is the direct employer of the president right now. The same sentiments were echoed by Rigathi Gachagua. Doesn't this ring some sort of bell to you? Are you not worried at all?
In the last election, Mutungi was supporting Raila Odinga.
Yes.
And Uhuru Kenyatta. And he said all manner of things, how they are going to be declared the president by Chebukati, who was appointed by Uhuru Kenyatta, who was the chairman of Azimio. What happened? So we've been there before. So why are you still paying attention to Mutungi?
Okay.
That's the confidence of a fool. He is trying to give himself some confidence and give William Ruto some confidence for whatever reasons. It is right to be deluded. He's delusional. So that is just part of trying to sell fear and to make people to despair that there's nothing you can do. There is something we can do, and the Kenyan people will do it. If they are confident that they are going to win elections, they will not be talking. Someone who is confident that he's going to relieve himself does not talk about it to everybody. You do it quietly. So what is this thing about people just all over telling us how they... If you are going to win, see, you are going to win. Keep quiet. But why do you keep saying it? It means even you know deep down it's not happening. You're just trying to boost your ego, boost your morale. Hope that is going to cause the other side to despair. But the Kenyan people will not despair. The Kenyan people have decided in one accord that William Ruto must go, and he will go. So it's not a matter of if, it's a question of when.
So not even this clampdown will actually derail the mission?
It will not. In fact, the clampdown is a very good mobilization point. The more you clamp down, you deploy the police, the more you raise the public anger. The more you draw attention to the issues. It's very good, by the way. I encourage him to continue doing it. Because that now becomes an awareness. That becomes an issue that occupies our minds every day. When you clamp down like this and tells us how repressive you are, so that we have a date with destiny with you to send you home.
But this also begs another question. How different are we when we now compared to our neighboring countries around here?
But our neighboring countries, if you look at Uganda, for example, Museveni got to office by the gun. He's ruling there by using his generals. Tanzania, CCM is the Liberation Party, the one that fought for independence. They are still the ones in office. As Kanu is, Kanu is somewhere, people even forget where Kanu is. Even Kanu that caused the pain to Kenyans, it's no longer this Kanu. This now we have a new Kanu. Kenyans have shed off that history. Even Kanu does not associate with that history. Kanu sells issues of today. It has abandoned its repressive past. But these neighboring countries, people whether went in through the gun or they are still living from the relics of colonialism. Kenyans have moved away from that politically. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's wait and see. But then, of course, the crack is going down. We'll still keep our eyes on what is happening within the country and across the borders. And actually, that news about the clampdown on the Tanzania governor, George Natembeya, will keep you updated on the latest with that particular story. Allow me to stop for now till we have this conversation again. Have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okini.